this world, in the costuming world, I go by Gadget. I got that nickname on Broadway. That's how I got the name, and I've just kind of stuck with it. You tell that to a director who's on a red-eye flight that your name is Gadget, he'll remember that. You know, I was actually found for this project. I was very, very lucky. I was drawn to this project because puppets was something completely different. You can't just go out and buy a pattern for a puppet. And I thought, well, if we're gonna get good at patterning, this is a good opportunity to really learn truly how to do it. Because if I can manage to get an elbow noodle into a jacket, I'm gonna be a happy camper. A costume does contribute to a puppet's character in the fact that it tells you something about them before they even open their mouth. That's my philosophy. Clothes make a statement, costumes tell a story. So for instance, like with RJ, I wanna make sure that later on he'll have stains, he'll have age, you can see his boots are starting to get some smudges on him. I want you to smell him before you see him. The process of creating a puppet's costume can go anywhere from 1 to 3 days. In Susie's case, it's been a week, just because of how complex her shape is. It starts all with the sloper, where I find the shape, how many shapes, how I'm gonna get that into a costume. Then I go into the mock-ups, and then after 1 or 2 drafts of the mock-ups, where I've spoken to Dallin and said, you know, is this going to give the puppet the most freedom? Is it going to give them the most movement? Is this going to benefit the actor? Once we have collaborated on that, then we move forward into the fashion fabric. And usually I only have 1 or 2 shots with that. So you better believe I am doing a lot of those mock-ups, because mock-ups are cheap. Fashion fabric ain't gonna get more of that. I remember the very, very beginning, I was really struggling trying to find fashion-forward fabrics and not having the ability to get them. And I was having a day, and then I was at a store, I was at the mall actually, and I just had this thought of, you're drowning in fabric. Look up, get out of your box, and see things from a different perspective. And I did. I looked around and it was like, oh my gosh, there's fabric everywhere. I just need to get it in like triple extra larges, and we'll cut that up and we'll make something out of that. And so that was a breakthrough for me, realizing if I was creative enough, I could make something that was believable, that was wonderful, that told this story that I had in my mind. I just had to get a different perspective. Costume design for a puppet is like tiny proportions. You got this big personality and like a sleeve this big. Sewing puppet costumes in these proportions is very challenging. I have smaller machines, I have specialized machines, but wrists and arm size, having them 3 inches big, it takes real dedication to slow down and not sew your fingers. People are going to be amazingly easy after this. I'm most proud of Harold's military look right now. I really, really enjoyed that. I've always wanted to do a Prince Charming costume, and I definitely got to do that with him. Although it was very interesting manufacturing those sleeves and the shoulder pads, because he doesn't really have them. He's kind of like this little hunchback baby. So it was difficult to make him stand proud. I will be dressing the puppets. So going back to like the graphs and the charts and stuff like that, every morning there'll be kind of like a spreadsheet. This is the scene, this is where it's at. These are all the pictures of everybody, what they're wearing. So that's really helpful for me to see just visually, and then I can also pass that off and make sure everybody else is happy. I'm very color coordinated. I call this as a Bible, this is a theatrical term. So if you open it up, you can see this was her concept art. And in here you have pieces of her original costume, her skin tone, so that I can kind of see that everything's kind of matching up with her here. And then this is the finished product. Here you can see the main look and their accessories and a picture, so that there is no questions of how she's dressed, especially for Cashmere, because she has 23 looks. I think in total she's got at least 6 wigs, 3 heads, and 35 pieces to her wardrobe, which is insane. She's got a whole thing of accessories. And so trying to keep them all straight is a very important part. So not only am I taking pictures of them, but I'm putting tags in them. So like for instance, you can see 9 Years to Neptune, character is Cashmere, and the look is called Carmencita. I'm kind of living vicariously through Cashmere. I love what I do. This is actually a dream come true for me. I've definitely leveled up as a seamstress, for sure. Because if you're like 2 millimeters off on a human proportion, nobody cares. you do that on one of these guys and it looks like a drunk ham and it's terrible. And so I've had to be much more meticulous, and I've had to have a higher standard of sewing than I've had before. And then my pattern making has really, really blossomed. I'm most excited to see, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get like emotional here. Yeah, I've spent so much time with these characters. Dallin and I have given them a heart, but I get to meet the soul of this character soon, and I am so excited to see what they bring to this character. We told this story, we created this, and now it gets to go out and be something amazing. And that's, to me, so fulfilling. And I can't wait to meet them.